Hi, this is Don Debelak. You've reached the second video in our video series, Pumping Up Sales, finding customers and choosing your targets and then find them. So basically what we're talking about as we're getting started in pumping up sales, we're going to be starting with a few slides on the basics, which is number one, making sure you know who your customers are, making sure you've got a good message for them, and then going out and getting them to buy. So first we start with just finding our customers. Now if you're going to find customers, the first thing you got to do is choose your targets. Who are you really going after? Basically, there's two types of customers you're really looking at as end users and people in the distribution channel. For end users, you're looking people who are underserved or unhappy, people willing to spend money, people are easy to reach, and people you provide significant benefits. So let's take a look at a group that might be very good, and that's the outdoor sports market. So if you have outdoor sports people, people who are, let's just say, doing paddle boards, first of all, I wouldn't say they're underserved. There are products out there, but they're always looking for something better. They're always looking for the edge. They're always looking for, being the coolest person on the lake. Are they willing to spend money? Definitely. These people spend a lot of money. Are they easy to reach? Very easy to reach because there's outdoor sports shops that cater to these people. There's outdoor sports magazines that cater to these people. It may not be a real big group, but there's associations for paddleboarders and they have events, so they couldn't be easier. It's really like an ideal target market. So then if you provide significant benefits to those paddleboarders, some product you have that's far better than any other, this is a great market, this is a great product, and you'll really have a lot of success going out there. So like the outdoor sports equipment market is really ideal. If you go into other markets, say hardware stores, again, I wouldn't say they're underserved, but if you have a new tool with a new gadget, a better like grip and drive or something like this, again, tool makers are willing to spend money. They're somewhat easy to reach with all the handyman magazines, and there's a lot of magazines where you can get a product review. And if you provide significant benefits, then that's a great market for you. So you want to be sure to pick out your end user group that really, is looking to spend money, looking for new products, and your benefits will be obvious to them and significant. As far as the distribution channel, what they're always looking for they're often looking for new products, but what really makes them better is if it broadens their line. So a distribution channel always wants to provide as complete a solution as it can. So if you provide a product that fits it and gives a better solution or a better offering overall for their entire line, they're going to like that. You want a distribution channel where you're important. So paddle sports again, so there's not that many paddle sports products and there's only so many end users. And if you create demand for your products to the end user, you'll be important to the distribution channel. Other times, if you're a hardware product and you're just going to go with the big Ace hardware or channel, you're going to find you're not really that important. But if you go with a distribution channel that really targets Lowe's and Home Depot, where you're now targeting the needs of Home Depot and Lowe's, you might be more important. So the more important you are to the distribution channel, the more their support they're going to give you. Of course, you want your distribution channel go in after your target market, and you want them to have good reach in the market, which just means they cover most of the market or have a broad market, and they can help you sell throughout the country. Now, sometimes you might have distribution channels, markets where distribution doesn't cover a broad range, and then you're going to have to pick a distribution, several distribution partners throughout the country to provide the reach into the marketplace that you need. Now, where are you going to find those customers? Well, trade shows is the best place to start, and trade shows can be for distribution channels. So, instance, you can have an outdoor sports trade show that'll cover all the retailers throughout the country, and they'll all come in. You also have outdoor sports shows for end users. Here, there might be an outdoor sports show in Minneapolis. There might be an outdoor sports show in Chicago. Might be an outdoor sports show in Atlanta. And so you'll want to cover those shows because they're the most cost-effective way to really meet a lot of customers. Now, the trade magazines is how you find out about these shows. So if you, there's an article, if you put down outdoor sports equipment into the trade search term for one-stop invention shop, you'll get an article coming up talking about how to sell to the outdoor sports equipment market, and it will list all of the varying trade magazines and trade shows and things you want to go forth. Now, if on other industries, you'll probably just want to do a search for internet search for trade shows in your industry, or you can go to galegroup.com, which is, if that doesn't come up, go to Gale Source of Publications, and that's a list of all of the magazines in the country, and it'll include a big section on trade magazines. If you have a larger library in your city, they would also probably have access to the Gale Source of Publications, but you might want to just start by going on the internet. People often put out newsletters. So what they'll do is when people come to their site, or they'll do something to have people come to their site, and they'll have newsletters, so you can keep sending things out to people, and that can get you expanded into the articles, especially if you're going for a small market. So like, for instance, paddle boards, you're more than likely can get articles published in the trade magazines, because they're, of course, looking for content, and this is a good way to expand your name and get out on the internet. You can also do things on YouTube and Facebook and the whole variety of social media marketing. As I said, videos, I really like videos on YouTube. This way, when you have a website, you can always send people to YouTube. And if you send people to YouTube, and rather than having a video on your own site, what happens is then you generate a higher ranking for yourself on YouTube when someone does a search term. Of course, you can do networking and referrals. And another thing, especially for distribution channels, people do a lot of work with rep groups. The rep groups know a lot of these retailers and know how to get a product out. One of the advantages of when you have a small specialized retail store is, and this is why I like rep groups, because they have really good contacts with those stores. But your end users, your people who are always in the market looking for something new, they go and visit those stores. They consider it kind of like an entertaining afternoon to go to the store and see everything they have. So you want those rep groups to get you in the stores, because that's another great way to find customers. Now, when you're choosing a target customer group, underserved or unhappy, I mentioned that these are the kind of people you want to look for. And so you need to really segment your customers, because you want to define your customer group as tightly as you can, because it really helps you understand what they're looking for, what will motivate them. And here I've just listed a whole variety of different ways people can be segmented. By how big the group is, or how big a family is, how they use your product, their lifestyles. I won't kind of go into all of this because I think it's pretty obvious. But you're looking at all of this and trying to define who is your ideal customer. And this segmentation is different for every kind of product, but the better you define who your customer is, the more you can target them, and the better you can market to them. This is probably the most important characteristic of a group, is that they're willing to spend money. I mean, you have a lot of people, you probably know them in your neighborhood, who don't spend money on everything. But also, every person you know may have some things they're willing to spend money on. So, for example, outdoor sports enthusiasts, they spend money on their hobby, but they might not spend a dime hardly on everything else. But then you have people who are willing to buy like iPhones or iPads, but then they might not, really be willing to buy CDs, or they might not be buying kitchen products, or they might not be buying a host of other things. So you need to find what customer group actually spends money on your type of products. And usually those are people who buy products frequently. I mean, if you go out to your garage and you have items you bought 30 years ago and have never replaced, well, that category is not important to you. So who are the people who would really replace their tools? This is where you get into, if you had a hardware store, you would go to people who have basement shops or garage shops where they're actually doing a lot of tinkering around. Then they're going to be more disposed to buy the product because that category is important to them. You want them to have a high disposable income, or at least some disposable income, so that they have the money to spend if they really like it. I never like inventors going into the market with the lowest price, because people who are willing to spend money are buying on the features a product has rather than the price. So sell those features, convince people those features are worth money. That's a much better use of your time than trying to lower the price. Specialized need is another thing. If you really have some needs where you really need a special product, you're willing to spend money. Like when people first move or first have home health care problems in their home, that's a specialized need. They go out and spend a lot of money to satisfy that need. When people have babies for the very first time, they're like the marketer's dream because they spend tons of money on getting ready for their baby. So it's a specialized need which they haven't had before, and they really need products to do that. If they're predisposed towards your type of product, that's great, but they're not always predisposed. So for instance, in a paddle sports, if they're predisposed that a certain type of paddle that has more force in the water, so in other words, when you're paddling, maybe you get an extra kick or something, then they're going to be predisposed because they want to go faster. So your feature is faster and you're offering faster. So a target group that's easy to reach, dealer networks, like you have lawn care dealers. These are dealers that have a broad product line that's specialized in a certain type of product, and they provide, the broad product. So people, when they need a lawn care product, they'll go there. Or some hardware stores try to compete with a lawn care product. Outdoor sports equipment, which I meant is a dream come true for an easy target to reach, because they have specialized retail stores that really cater to their target market. Solutions providers, this is another group. Bathroom installers, where they have all the products for the bathrooms, and they're looking for little special features that they can really talk to people about to convince them that they're special. You want to have dedicated trade or consumer magazines. I mean, if you don't want to be advertising in Time magazine that goes out and reaches the whole U.S. population, because only a small percentage of your people who are reading that magazine might be in the target customer. You want the magazine to really be targeted at your customer. And a lot of, you'll find when you look at Gale's source of publications for different trade magazines, you'll find there's a lot of specialized magazines that are really targeted at a specific user, such as the Gourmet Kitchen. Those are the kind of magazines you want. That's why inventors with kitchen products really have success, because first of all, they have a dealer network and little kitchen stores throughout the country that provide a lot of sales support, and second, because they have dedicated trade magazines which are really easy to use. Another, I just mentioned kitchen stores, specialized retail outlets, but scrapbookers are the same way. You have specialized stores for scrapbookers, and you also have specialized trade magazines. You like it when they have local groups or organizations that you can work with. Your Outdoor Sports Equipment Association of Minnesota, but you have also Outdoor Sports Enthusiasts of Minnesota. All these type of organizations make it very easy to find people. And usually in today's market, if you have a strong specialized retail outlet, you have strong specialized local groups, you're also going to have strong internet information providers. And those are people that you can send articles into to get published. You can send photos into. You can have people review your product. One of the tricks that if your product isn't overly expensive, going onto a strong internet site and asking, telling them that you'd like 5 people to review your product, usually you can get an article out there and you can get independent people reviewing your product and posting reviews. Now, when you choose your customer group, you want to be sure that your product provides a better solution for them. It's a significant benefit to them. So when they see the product, they know it's for them, they know it will work. And so you might have a better solution. You might meet specialized needs for this group that other products don't meet. Um, you might have more cost effective, be a more cost effective solution. You provide more benefits, but you provide a better overall solution. More fun and exciting. More fun and exciting is always a big factor. And when you're, one of the things about fun and exciting is those products are the products people spend money on and they want to have. That's a much better benefit really than saving time, because fun and exciting, people are really looking for that. If you enhance the customer image, in other words, if they go out in the marketplace and their friends see them and they think, wow, this is really great, you really got this, it makes you seem have more status, that's really great. Safety is good, and also capitalizing on market shifts. This is where the market changes. For example, if you have the iPhones and the iPads, all of a sudden everyone's got a little plug that goes into the wall and it's plugging into the device, and then you're pushing it in, pulling it out to recharge it. Well, those little things fray. So the move towards having to constantly recharge your equipment leads to the fact that the cords fray, and it opens up opportunities for people who can come up with little devices that prevent the wires from fraying. So it's a market shift. Whenever the market shifts, there's always new opportunities. Look for those. Now, when we're talking about distribution channels and choosing your target distribution channels, again, I talked about broadening the line. So every distribution channel wants to have a complete line. So when a customer walks in and wants to buy, they can buy everything they want from this customer. Distribution channels don't like you coming in and buying 2 items from that channel, then going over to another channel and buying 2 products from that channel, and then going to another one. They want to have you tied up and just buying from them. So anytime you can broaden the line and make a distribution channel more of a one-stop provider, that's very important. You also want your distribution channel to care about you, that your product is important, that they're going to support your product, that they're going to work with you. If you're just a little nothing to the distributor and he puts you on the shelf and hopes someone will buy it, and you're not important, you're not going to get good results. Try to get that distribution channel where you partner, where you really see it. So sometimes you don't want to go with the biggest distribution channel partner, because then you're less important. You want to go to a smaller one who's really looking to establish a niche for himself or herself in a strong market position. So take a look at that to make sure you're important. Of course, you want them to go after your target customer. You want them to have good reach in the market. You don't want to just go with a distribution channel that only serves a very small part of the market, because that's not going to support your sales level. Again, you want them to have strong customer support. And, I'm always looking for a distribution partner where their sales force goes out and sells their product and actually does something with your product, and not someone who just puts it on the shelf or puts it in their catalog and don't give any support to it, because you're just not going to get the market penetration you want if that's what your partner is like. Now, I talked a little bit about trade shows, and I'm a big believer in trade shows. I believe everyone who's getting ready to start out with a product needs to attend these trade shows as an exhibitor or as an attendee. If you're just starting out, you're just thinking about a new product, go as an attendee to a trade show. See what the other products are like and start to network with people. You really need to go out and get started in the marketplace and learning what other companies are doing. You also like to go as an attendee so you can meet other inventor-founded companies, because those inventor-founded companies, they might be a resource for you to share, a marketing and sales efforts. Maybe they can do manufacturing for you, or you can do manufacturing for them. And there's synergy involved, because usually the inventor-founded companies that are new, are a little bit underfinanced, and they're always looking for ways to work with somebody like you to go ahead. Now, as far as finding the trade shows, I've listed here a couple of sites um, where you can find the trade shows, but generally the trade shows are such a large number of trade shows, it's hard to know which ones are more important. And that's where I like trade magazines, because the trade magazine, has to be a certain size in order to be published and has to have a certain number of viewers, or they just don't have, it doesn't make economic sense to advertise. And those trade magazines will almost always list all the trade shows that are in the industry. And that's really a great place to start, is a trade magazine, to find the trade shows you want to attend. Now, when you have newsletters or brochures or anything like that, so if you go to a trade show or you're in an association meeting or you're at a local show, whatever you're doing, you can give out brochures, but people tend not to keep the brochures or look at them. But if you put out a newsletter that really has helpful articles for your target customer, and if you're a gourmet cook, maybe you have a really nice article on cooking bake Alaska, or you have bicycle ones on how to change your gear ratio so you can better go up a steep hill and things like this. Newsletters with articles that are really related to the end user and not just product promotion. These are things people might be better to keep. Plus, they help you build a relationship with your customers. They can see that you care about them. You're not just trying to take their money. And if you have newsletters, one of the things that's really positive is that these newsletters will get published by other websites. You can send your articles to other websites, and they're always interested in content. And so frequently you can get your articles published, and that's really advantageous for you. You can promote customs contests and events, and it helps people who visit you sign up to get future newsletters, so you can get a little mailing list of customers. And having newsletters really helps you with the distribution channel too, because if you let the distribution channel use those newsletters and the articles are really customer focused and not really focused on use, it really is a good way to go out and get your product out. Plus, you have the newsletters out, people are seeing it, you're just going to locate other people in the market. Again, articles, these are articles that are not necessarily total about your product. It's not a press release about your product, but it's just something that helps the people in the industry get started. Everybody's looking for articles, especially with the internet content that people want. And so you should really take a look at how you can get more and more articles that are really pertinent to end users. And don't be afraid to have interviews with people outside your company, and don't be afraid to list competitive products. Again, other websites, these are just, if you have a strong specialized market, there'll be websites geared to them where people are advertising. You might want to advertise, but you want to post articles, and you want to return the favor. You'll post their articles, post their articles on your site. You want to work together to develop a customer base. One of the best things to do, especially if your product is kind of new or kind of exciting, is host webinars. Host webinars with videos, and host webinars and events with other sites. All of these things are things that can get your name out and promote your product. I really like to see you have videos, especially if you have a product that's demonstratable. You can post them on your site, but you can post them on YouTube. A really great video, if you want to go on crowdfunding, is really nice to have. And don't overlook crowdfunding as a source of sales if you use a reward-based crowdfunding approach, where you say, like, to make this production run, I need $60,000, and if you give like $100, and when I get my product comes out, you get a free product. That's called reward-based crowdfunding, which is really what Kickstarter is. Although some sites in Kickstarter just take money and don't promise anything, but we like to, you can promise a product that which really reinforces your whole distribution chain, that people really want your product. And especially if you have a video for a specialized need. Uh, Videos on YouTube are very good, and they're also good on your site. And it's also good to have all your newsletters and all of your brochures point back to the video. You want the video to be solution oriented, and you want it to cover problems that end users have. All of these type of videos will help you get people to your site. Now, trade shows have something which is for inventors the greatest tool they can get, and that are directories. Now, these directories list all the people who are in the marketplace. They list all the people in the distribution channel, or at least most of the people in the distribution channel. Sometimes you get lucky, and they also have a list of sales reps, and these are just fabulous for you. If you have trouble finding sales reps or your industry doesn't have one, we have on One Stop Invention Shop list of sales reps available for different industries for $24.99 in order to help inventors out and really get them started. But these trade magazines also host a large trade show, and also they commonly will give you an attendee list. Again, here you're getting a list of all the name of the people in industry, the companies in the industry, and it's a real good starting point for finding people who you want to talk to. One of the things that you really should be interested in is finding marketers and manufacturers with complementary products. These are products that are sold to the same target customer but don't compete with yours. It's just another product that the customer will buy in order to satisfy whatever their needs are. These manufacturers could be a great partner for you. They might do joint marketing with you. They might share sales resources with you, especially if they're a smaller company. Everybody's kind of struggling to get enough resources to get in the marketplace. Combining with other people is a very good thing with the directory. The other thing, these news trade magazines, they have a listing of events in the industry. They have a listing of associations that you might want to join. They're just really positive. And also, you know, the directories they publish will have some industry news about big moves in the industry. The other thing about trade magazines, and this is why I think everyone should get one, is they will list innovative strategy other companies are using. So you should be interested in what those are, because maybe you will want to do that. And you get key personnel. Get all the magazines you can that are industry specific. I can't emphasize how important that is. Of course, you're always going to be interested in networking. This is the reason we send you to trade shows, is because you can go around, meet people, talk to people at booths. Now, what you'll find at a trade show, and this is my strategy anyway, you want to go first thing in the morning. And so first thing in the morning, the booths are not that busy, and so you can go and talk to people. And at the booths, especially people with complementary products, you can meet sales reps who happen to be working at a booth for another manufacturer. You can find companies who might be interested in working with you, or you can just talk to people and pick their brains a little bit. So usually early in the morning and late in the afternoon, you can meet a lot of people at the booths, talking to them and see what they have to say. Also, you know, you can just, all these conventions have tables about 10 or 12 seats, and if you just sit there during lunch, people will come and go at the table, and you can talk to them, see what they're doing. And I found some very good networking contacts at that. People, you want these referrals, you want these names for who are the best rep groups and distributors to work with, who are companies with complementary products who might want to combine forces. So who are some other new companies that are just getting going? Maybe they're having some market success, but of course they don't always have all the money in the world to go out and promote their product to the whole market, so maybe they can really work with you. You're looking for key association. Who are those associations? Because you want to join them to really meet more and more people. You want, of course, the names of key influencers. Who are the people in the marketplace who really drive it forward? And, you know, you want to have suggestions. Talk about your product. What are some different ways to get the product out there? See what people have to say. Maybe you'll get some ideas on what's an effective way to market your product. You know, in rep groups, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar. Rep groups are independent marketing or sales groups that carry lines, maybe 10 to 12 to 15 lines, for a variety of companies. Usually the rep group is trying to do the same thing the distribution channel is. They want a broad line of products so that they can go into their distributor, go into their store and say, hey, I've got all the products you need to provide a solution. So they have a very strong industry focus. They'll have a penetration, for instance, of all the sports equipment outlets, all the sports equipment distributors. Usually the rep group will just cover one state or multiple states if you're in an area where there's not as many people. And sometimes in the East Coast, they're only going to cover part of a state. Or in California too, they'll have a more limited market just because the rep group can only, provide adequate service for a certain number of customers. What you like about them is they have your industry focus. They usually understand your industry. They usually understand how to sell products for your industry. They already have a customer base. They tend to be very solution oriented. Now, when you're looking at a rep, and this goes back to why I like you to work with other manufacturers of complementary products, a rep can't really afford to take on a product if he's only going to get like a 2% bump in income. It's just not worth it to him. You want him to have really an increase in income of 10%, maybe 15%, or even 20%. When you can provide that extra incentive, so that he's going to really change his income level by taking on your product, they're going to be a lot more interested. So if your product maybe isn't that doesn't have the potential of offering that much, this is why you can team up with other complementary products, and maybe you can go and get reps with 4 products that can provide that incentive. And that's not only better for you, it's better for all the other 3 companies, and it's better for the reps. And that's really how you can get going. The only time they're really going to take on a product with a very small percentage is if you help them, provide a more complete solution, to the end users. And always be cautious. If the reps are always talking about, I need a lower price, that's not what you want. You want a value-added rep. A rep goes in and helps the store sell, helps the store promote its products, helps the store know how to run a marketing campaign. That's how the reps can help you. Reps, usually for inventors, represent the quickest way into the marketplace because they already have a customer base. One of the things the reps groups do is they give you credibility. Basically, the inventors, you're an unknown commodity, you're a one-product inventor. Companies might want to wait 6 months or 9 months to see if you stay around and keep calling on them before they decide to buy from you. They don't like buying from the first time an unknown company because maybe you won't ship them quality products, maybe you won't get delivery, maybe you don't have the funding set up to really support them. But when you work with a rep group, they rely on the rep group as a partner, and they expect the rep group to really check you out and know that you're going. So generally, rep groups helps you find customers, usually has a big presence within user groups, and they're the quickest way really for you to get into the marketplace.